Hello, hello. Welcome into the spread. Week 2. I'm Andre Kachaturian. He's Mike Cole. We're ready to give you some of the best football picks of the week. And before we do that, Mike, we're recording this Friday, September 12th. I should mention that. And it's good we delayed the recording, and we'll get to that later because on Tuesday we thought Brock Purdy might have still been playing for the 49ers, but he is not, and we'll get to that first. But first, what a week one, huh? Amazing. Thursday night game, Friday night game in Brazil was fun. The Sunday night game was probably the game of the year. And then a nice comeback on Monday night. And even the Sunday slates, you had some good games. The Bucks Falcons was exciting. If every NFL game was the Bucks and Falcons, I would watch.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of
Always,
looking at it.
always good.
Yeah, it was good. I will say like it was especially advantageous to live in this area of the country because I'm very big on like aesthetics and settings and things like that. To get some cold, rainy weather last Sunday was
Yes.
perfect
Yeah.
because it was like there is this thing with the start of the NFL season where you can get like 75-degree days outside. Like part of me as a Packers fan feels like they've kind of wasted two home games playing in like, you know, beautiful climate. Like it's still we're not quite the football season in terms of the weather, but having that cold, rainy day up here was basically a permission slip to sit on the couch and watch football all day. I made some chili. It was, leaned into it pretty hard. But yeah, you're right. The games were good. There was a little bit of a sensory blitzkrieg, if you will, because it you kind of hit on the fact that we went Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday to the point where like I barely remember who played on Monday. and like I didn't watch much of the Friday game at all. Like there's almost a little bit too much. But to have it back in our lives and to have that rhythm back has just been a true delight. So it was a great first week back. They did a nice job, I think, with the schedule, not overloading any spot, giving us some really good matchups, a good mix of divisional games, good matchup. The playoff rematch on Sunday night. It hit every chord that you could want. So checked every box for me.
It
Feeling
was
good. My cup's full.
My cup was very full. I had a great time watching all the games, and the weather helped. The New England cold came in early. It was
Felt like middle of
it
October all of a
really
sudden.
did. It felt like how it should, and it felt
Yeah.
weird. I'm like, wait, is it like October? Is it November? But it was
Then it
September.
was like 77
It's still
yesterday, so
summer.
it's like,
Yeah, it
yeah,
is. Yeah, it'll be warm this week. But yeah, I mean, I think one day we're gonna get to that inevitable 18 game schedule, and
yeah.
how cool will it be to have the NFL season start Labor Day weekend, having that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because college football won't begin. Well, it is, I guess, week 1 of college football, but NFL is not going to care. They're going to put a big game on that Saturday as well.
Yeah.
So
So we were talking about this on the another podcast I do, the NPC podcast with our good friend Ben Watanabe. And we were kind of talking about this. I don't like the 18 game schedule. I'm not looking forward to that. It's too much. Like you have to make sure that the product is good. I don't know if the product will be good if we're taking even less practice time away, less preseason time away. The thing that I kind of mentioned was like the NHL adding the four nations
oh
last
yeah,
year was great because
yeah.
the product was really good, but you run the risk of adding more and more. Look at like the NBA. So the NBA in the middle of Thursday night football ran the Amazon Prime commercial for their upcoming uh package basically, and the girls like running through. It's like the Emirates Cup, the such and such playing, and it's like the NBA is a perfect example of like if you add too much and it sucks, it can really take away from the product. So I
Absolutely.
hope the NFL doesn't go down that road. But I I have my reservations. But I'm a traditionalist at heart. I think if
I
we went back to 16 games, I wouldn't mind that either.
I agree with what you're saying. Adding more kind of dilutes the product and makes the
You're a
game
junkie though.
urgent. But I mean, this isn't 162 games. I mean, I
Yeah.
watch 162 games for baseball, but I'm a crazy
The
person.
other thing is like they've watered it down as like overstating it, but like you would have to we're probably not very close to like the NFL being a horrendous product that you're not gonna watch. You know what I mean? Like you're still gonna watch it, even if it's like, oh, this isn't as good because they're playing on a Labor Day weekend. But you're
Yes.
like, it's still the NFL. It's still a regular season game. I'm gonna watch. So
Of course, it's still, a lot of people with the betting and the
yep,
fantasy, they're going to watch. But you're right. When you make the regular season longer, higher chance of injuries, and the team dealing with
that
injuries
too.
right now are the San Francisco 49ers, are, I guess, our home team on the ASN, on Armenian Sports News, because of Brock Purdy. But I should make a note: the Jacksonville Jaguars, Patrick McCarry on their offensive line, they made history in week one. It was only the second time in franchise history that the offensive line for the Jaguars didn't allow a sack. So credit
Wow.
to Patrick McCarry and the Jaguars offensive line. They've needed help in that front for many years, and adding McCarry, a veteran from the Ravens, should help them in that front. Maybe a sneaky division winner, the Jaguars. Who knows? But
The Armenian Wall, as they're calling him.
he's a big dude. But yeah, let's go. We're not going to talk about the Jaguars this week. We'll talk about the Niners. No Brock Purdy. Mac Jones will be their quarterback. Fortunately for the Niners, they're playing a subpar opponent, the New Orleans Saints, with Spencer Rattler at quarterback. And despite being on the road without their starting quarterback, 49ers are still 3.5-point favorites
No.
in this game at the Superdome. What do you see happening in this one? Is this a
So
home upset?
I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't watch a second of the Saints game last week because they're the Saints. And I didn't see a ton of the 49ers game because it was opposite the Packers. But I think I'm largely going to default to this idea that is not unique to me, but veteran teams, talented teams, and especially well coached teams playing their first game with a backup quarterback typically tend to play pretty well. I think whatever you think of Mac Jones, I am going to. I certainly have my own opinion of it. I think you have to table that at least for a week till we see what he looks like in this system. My thought is he will look a lot better than he's looked in Jacksonville or the end of his Patriots tenure. If you go back to the one time that he had very good coaching, decent staff, decent system,
His rookie year?
decent, yeah, arsenal around him was his rookie year when they went to the playoffs. Maybe he flew a little too close to the sun that season, and he was never going to be that player generally speaking. But he has been given a raw deal since then, and it is possible that they just absolutely broke him to the point of beyond repair. But I think there's a reason that Shanahan wanted Mac Jones, right? Like there was all this stuff leading up to the draft that they wanted him that year, and they ended up not getting him, and that we know how the history played out. But I think he's a guy who Shanahan sees as a really good fit in their system. The Kittle injury is not good either. That's kind of like the bigger thing. I know he's not Armenian, but that is a bigger issue, I think, for the 49ers this week, maybe than the Purdy thing, because I think you get that 1 week of like the quarterback play will be okay. But once you have tape of 49ers Mac Jones, like I think next week's the bigger issue. And for this game specifically, the Saints are so bad that I think we're probably still out in front of it, where it's like this is maybe a 4.5 point, even on the road, even with the backup quarterback. So the fact that it's 3.5, three, I think there maybe is a little bit value on the 49ers here. Again, maybe that's a handicap that is straight out of 2023 or 22, but I just am so down on the Saints, and I think that for 1 week at least, Mac Jones will look halfway decent in a system that is probably much better for him than what we've seen from the last few years.
Yeah, I think you can, even with Mac Jones, you could confidently say that the 49ers have the edge at quarterback versus
Yeah,
Rattler.
yeah.
So, I mean, he did not look good last week. I watched it on Red Zone, which is, whatever you want to call that. I didn't watch the full game,
We were
but
not getting that game.
it was a came down to the wire. They were able to drive down the field, and he had 4 downs to try to tie the game, and he pooped his pants. There was a drop ball in the end zone. Saints could have won that game, but again, it was against the Cardinals. And whatever, it was week one. Maybe there wasn't. I trust the 49ers more in this spot than the Cardinals. I'll take the 49ers minus 3.5 is way too little, and I think they're gonna run away with this game, even without Kittle or Purdy. Like you said, everything you said, I agree with. And let's not forget McCaffrey. The guy got 22 touches. There was rumors he might not play, and then
Yeah,
the
right.
next thing you know, he had 22 carries. Not, I don't know how many receptions he had for touches, but 22 carries. He was highly active in that offense. And they were going. That was against the Seahawks defense, which is very, very good defense. Only had 69 yards on those 22 carries. I'm expecting he'll do better against the Saints defense. So that was a quality win for the 49ers going at Seattle and getting that comeback victory. Purdy looked fantastic on that last drive, made a big play, scrambled around, found a backup tight end in the corner of the end zone. There's like three defenders on him. Somehow he still caught it. Very nice anticipatory throw, as the football experts called it on the Monday morning radio shows. So yeah, I agree with you here. 49ers 3.5. I would even, if you're using one of those apps where you could make it 4.5 or 5.5, why not? Like, I think they can win by a touchdown in this game.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit on maybe you hit on it, maybe I was just imagining. um the 49ers defense too. I don't know if you did hit on it, is it looked good.
No, I
I
didn't
think
hit on that.
Robert Saleh, bringing him back, or not. I mean, it's the whole thing is those guys are, the mafia, the Shanahan mafia. Um, but like I was looking at Rattler's numbers, and for as good as you want, you're quote unquote saying he played last week, he still only completed less than 60% of his passes, which is right in line. He was exactly what he's been his entire career. So like if that's what it's going to be next week or this week, excuse me, I think this rejuvenated 49ers defense is going to wreak some havoc. I think they're going to take a big amount of the onus in this situation with the injuries. Like the offense might be a bit of a question mark for the 49ers this week. I think the defense takes it in their own hands. Um, Spencer Rattler not really a threat to move the ball downfield in a way that is going to be impactful at all. So there's just I was looking at the depth of target versus time to throw. He is not having much time to throw and certainly not looking to push the ball downfield. And I think that plays into the 49ers' hands. So like I said, maybe next week I'm not going to like the 49ers as much, but I think in this spot I'll feel good enough laying the points, even though it is a little bit dicey.
I acquiesce with your assertions, my friend. Let's move forward to the next game, an NFC North clash between the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. I love the NFC North this year. Every game is going to be a classic. We've already had three of them. We had the Packers
Yeah.
Lions, we had the Bears Vikings, and now we're having the Bears Lions. The Ben Johnson Bowl, as some are calling it. It's where is this game? Why do I never
It's
write
in
the?
Detroit.
It's in Detroit. Lions 6.5 point favorites. Ben Johnson returning to Detroit. Bears on a short week, heartbreaking loss. You're up 17-6 and they blew it on Monday night. Caleb Williams didn't look so great, despite some, flashes. He had that rushing touchdown, but ultimately, I feel like most people were saying that as the game progressed and the game got off script, Caleb Williams looked like Mitch Trubisky. Here we have him going to a hostile environment. Detroit opening night. Lions are going to be hungry for a win after getting embarrassed by the Packers and getting embarrassed by the Washington Commanders in the playoffs last year. So they're desperate for a win. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
This is a tough one because like from a strictly like a narrative standpoint, it's hard to pick a lane here because you kind of hit on a lot of it. Like both teams need a win. They do. Do the Lions have an advantage because they know Ben Johnson? Does Ben Johnson have an advantage because he knows the Lions? There is this stat that they showed. I think they showed it during the broadcast last week. Jared Goff has had 5 different play callers in his career. With the 3 not named Sean McVay or Ben Johnson, he's 0-19-1.
Wow.
So that's not great. That being said, I think I lean toward the Lions here. How long before we can say Caleb Williams stinks? I think we have to give him a little bit more than a season in a game, but especially with a new coach, like I think it's gonna probably start to look better. And if you go back and watch some of that game, or if you were watching it in real time, like there were guys who were open, including that DJ Moore play where he had him
Yeah,
basically
this is
running down
terrible, bro.
yeah. And so I think that will probably get better with time. And then at some point, the offense is going to start to click because if those guys are still being schemed open, I have to imagine that Caleb Williams is going to start hitting them. That said, I think this is a bad spot for them because, to your point, short week, um, going on the road, healthy Aiden Hutchinson on the other side. I still have my questions about whether the Bears can block for Caleb up front. I think this is there's going to be a handful of parties in the backfield where it's going to be a lot of Caleb Williams running for his life. That part of things didn't look a whole lot different on Monday night. I don't expect him to, run for 200 yards or anything crazy like that. So I think they bottle him up, and I just think getting home in a spot that you kind of need a win real bad. I trust the Lions to come out doing that more so than I do the Bears. The number's big. You said it's up to 6.5.
Yeah,
So it was 6. It's going up. I'd run to get it before it gets to 7, obviously. So at 6.5, I'd feel comfortable with that because I do think if the Lions win this game, it's probably pretty comfortably. So I mean, obviously, if I'm picking them to lay the touchdown, that's implied. But I think we've seen in the past that this team can step on the gas. I don't think that's totally gone yet, so I think the Lions win this pretty comfortably.
interesting. I agree with a lot what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm very low on the Lions this year. I think
Yeah, there's a
uh,
lot to prove still.
so. I look at that 6.5 number. I'm like, that's a lot of points. But then I look at the Bears on a short week. Then in the second part of me is like, well, it's a divisional game, and I'm down on the Lions. Well, maybe it'll be close, and the Bears will cover. I think the Lions ultimately win the game, but I'm personally going to stay away from betting on this game in real life. But if I had to pick, I would swallow the points, take the Lions -6.5. I could see them winning by 7 or 10. Hello,
Yep.
you still see me?
I do not. I see a letter A.
No, what happened? There,
Oh, there you go.
okay, sorry, I don't know what happened to. Okay, sorry.
Sure.
I my apologies to everyone. So what was I saying?
You're gonna
Um,
swallow the points.
all the points. I'm not confident with it though. I will take the Lions and um, what was I going to say? I had a good point about the Bears, Mike. Why don't you pick me up here?
Well, I will say too. I think there is something going in your favor. As I was looking at these two teams played. Was it Thanksgiving? Did they play on Thanksgiving? And
I'm the Lions.
yeah, I know that's true. The game in whenever they played in Detroit, that was the game where they was it um they were driving and the Bears were driving with a chance to
Oh,
win,
and
and
then
then it
they
was just a
forgot about
complete
their timeouts.
complete fire drill with like the game management at the end.
Yeah,
And so like they are more than capable of going into Detroit and giving them a game. So I
yeah.
think that bodes well for taking the points here. I just think like for me it's more of a gut feel where I think the Lions get right at least for a week. Because if the Lions don't, they're kind of like sneaky in trouble. Like the Packers look really good. The Vikings already have won a game. Uh, this is a sneaky big game for the Lions. I mean, it's a huge game for both of them, but I think the Lions have greater um, visions of contending in the NFC North than maybe the Bears do.
Right. And you look at any like good team, whenever they get blown out the week before, they're gonna come out stronger. I think the Lions, even though I'm low on them, I'm not saying they're gonna be a 5-12 team. I just don't think they're gonna, hit their what's their win total, 11 and a half or something. I think
Yeah,
that's gonna happen. But that's one thing. I think Lions will bounce back after getting embarrassed by the Packers. The other thing is that Hail Mary game for the Bears. It seems like it's just ruined their entire franchise. They haven't won a single game. except for week 18 game where the Packers
The
rested their
Packers.
starters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Packers rested their starters and they lost last week
Yeah.
too. They haven't won a real game yet. And I don't think it's going to be this week at Detroit. Like you
It's
said,
very Patriots like too. Like it reminds me. I mean, there's obviously very similar circumstances where it's like people want to sit here and talk about how good these quarterbacks are, whether it's Caleb Williams or Drake May. It's like there's not a. Sometimes it looks good, but there's not a lot of wins to show for it. So
yeah,
that's tough.
it's wild. The way if you hadn't watched a single NFL game last season and you only heard like talk radio
Yeah.
off season, you would think that Caleb Williams was like the second coming or something. But
So
he,
did you watch that game on Monday?
yeah,
So what
he
did you
looked
think, just
good.
like operationally of the Bears? Did you think it looked more competent than maybe it has in the past?
It looked good in the first half.
Yeah, everything on script was really good, right?
Yeah,
And then it's like,
but
well,
that's what I'm trying to say is that when he goes off script, it's very questionable. Now, people make the argument that he was sacked 68 times last year, and he has a better offensive line this year.
eh,
But exactly, how much better is that offensive line? And Detroit's pass rush, Aiden Hutchinson, first home game since his injury, he's gonna be fired up. I think he's
right.
uh, destroy Caleb Williams. I was listening to Colin Cowherd. He was saying
Of
that
course.
uh, what was the Hall of Fame game that who was it? Were the Bears in the Hall of Fame game this year? Forgetting.
Um, Maybe you're not gonna believe this. I did not watch the Hall of Fame game this
No, no,
year.
no. He was trying to make a point that the Lions, he had sold his Lions stock because they looked very unorganized in the Hall of Fame game without Ben.
They played the Chargers. The Chargers
Yes.
beat the hell out of them. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
34-7. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. But the point I was trying to make has nothing to do with Colin Cowherd or the Hall of Fame game. It has
Well, I'm glad we looked it up then.
yeah. Well, it was more so Tyson Bagent had a strong preseason
Yeah.
with Ben Johnson, and maybe Colin Cowherd has made this point too. I don't know, but I've read it somewhere that you can even look at his stats. Bagent had a strong preseason without Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams is struggling. Maybe this is a Caleb Williams problem. Like you said, I think he might stink.
The calls for Bajan are gonna get louder because that's like the perfect red meat. Where it's like this guy who's like a total meathead. Isn't his dad like the arm wrestling champion of the
Yeah,
world
yeah.
or whatever?
He's
And
like a bodybuilder or something.
Caleb Williams is Caleb Williams. And he's like paints his nail. Like it's just
Yeah,
he's got a disposition about him that people don't like. If it goes ugly early this season, like I think the calls for his job might get
as they should.
a little louder than they
Just because
maybe.
he's the number one pick doesn't mean you have to
Yeah,
double down
right.
and on your losses.
And that's going to be a tough spot for a first year head coach to have to make that decision. But yeah, I think this week could compound that. We'll see.
Moving on, the last game that we're going to talk about, Super Bowl rematch. It is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. This game is in Arrowhead. Wow, the Chiefs losing to their team that they usually beat up on, the Chargers, and the Eagles beat up on the team that they usually do beat up on, the Cowboys, in week one. So I think a lot of people are looking at this game and are like, well, the Chiefs can't go 0-2 because they're the Chiefs. They are 1.5-point underdogs at home as well. Like what the Chiefs as a home underdog. When was the last time that happened? You got to take the Chiefs here, though. You got to take the Chiefs, right, Mike?
No. So everything I've been reading about this game says that, right? Like, I don't know, man. I know that the Eagles weren't overly impressive, but I can explain some of what. Well, I guess you can make excuses for both teams. Like the Chiefs were on a different continent playing football last week, so
I don't know
that
if
is
that matters, though.
that's an excuse. No, all right, fine, then even better. Whereas, like, I think the Eagles, maybe this is just a hockey cliche that I'm using, but like, you always see this in hockey where the team that raises the Stanley Cup banner looks kind of flat in their first game. And
Yes.
the Eagles, I don't think necessarily looked flat, but they didn't look great. So now I think it's a much more normal week where you've got the extra rest, you can get back on your regular cadence, you're going on the road. I think it's a welcome opportunity for the Eagles in this spot. I actually think the Eagles win this game and win it pretty comfortably because like at some point the Chiefs don't get credit for being the Chiefs. And maybe we'll be having the same conversation in like 3 years and the Chiefs are still doing Chief things. But like they especially with if Xavier Worthy's not going to play, which it sounds like the news that they got on him was better than expected, but still like I don't think he's going to play. And so it's like who are you throwing to?
Hollywood
Can you
Brown.
still yeah, right? Like the pass rush on Philly, I think is assuming nobody spits on anybody and gets ejected on the first play of the game. Like we saw this in the Super Bowl. Like this, are either one of these teams drastically different than the last time that they played?
I don't think so. I agree
I
with
don't think so either.
I think the
If
Eagles.
anything, I think the Chiefs are worse.
You talk about the Eagles' slow start. It's going to help them again. Jalen Carter, he won't be spitting on Patrick Mahomes in the first play of the game. And
It would be wild if he was, but that would be
imagine he does it again.
yeah. He's like, it's my thing now. What do you want?
Anyway, yeah, I like the Eagles a lot. I love this game.
I hate how much I like him, but like that's a
But the thing is, every time I say I hate how much I like them, I think about the public loves probably the Chiefs because they're like, oh,
That's
the
a good
Chiefs are
point.
home underdogs. So it's like, no, most people probably are on the Chiefs in this game. I love
Can
the
I
Eagles. Yeah, go ahead.
can I share with you some stats I saw on NFL.com? And so like this is I think some of the thing is that of your talk what you're talking about or with the public is so the Chiefs have never started 0-2 under Mahomes, which is nuts. They've never lost 3 straight games in his career, including the playoffs. So this would be that they lost the Super Bowl, so this would be 3 straight. They're 4-0 in his career following back-to-back losses, which I guess is kind of just saying the same thing again. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that means he hasn't lost 3 in a row. And he's 19-4 in the game after a loss in his career. So, but like again, I think it's so easy to fall into this trap with the Chiefs. And if I'm wrong about this, I'll be wrong about it. Like I don't feel dumb being wrong about the Chiefs moving forward, at least for a few weeks, right? Like I just think it's different, man. Like
It is. It is.
this is this is not an original thought. I forgot where else I heard this, but like they feel like they are in the like the Brady Belichick era, like lost era, right? Where
Yes.
between oh well even like I guess no, so like it would be like 04 through 06, right? Like they had
Oh,
nobody
I thought you were going to mention
or if you want to go
08
from
till
right.
like 2012 or something.
Right. And it's hard because like Mahomes had so much success early in his career that like he's on a different trajectory than Brady was, where it's like he is actually still pretty young. Like I think we look at him as older just because he's been around for so long and has had so much success. He still has a second chapter at least in his career.
Oh,
And maybe they get to that point where they build something like a 2007 Patriots or a 2016 Patriots or whatever. Like maybe they get there. I don't know. But this does kind of feel like we have to tear it down to the studs, or not down to the studs, but we've got to, like Travis Kelce is on the way out. The receiving core is a mess. The veteran or the offensive line is there's some older guys on the offensive line too. I think that are maybe on their way out as well. The defense is good, and I give him, and even like Andy Reid, like how much longer is Andy Reid going to be around? So like I think there's just way more questions about the Chiefs right now, and like it's on the table. I don't mean this as an overreaction, but like it's on the table that this is a 9-8 team,
yeah.
right? Like
Missed the
I don't know.
playoffs, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think it's very similar to that Patriots dark period. They had won 3 Super Bowls and then they kind of disappeared for a decade. And I think that the same might happen to the Chiefs. It's just
yeah,
harder to build a team when you're paying your quarterback top dollar and all your other top dollar guys are getting old. Travis Kelce's older, even though he looked great in week 1. You don't really have any wide receiver weapons. It's looking very similar to Brady in the post Randy Moss era when he was working with all these random guys.
Brandon LaFell and
Yeah, yeah. So it's that I think the Chiefs are heading into that era, and
the Chiefs are talking about, or not. I don't know if the Chiefs are, but people are talking about like the Chiefs trying to trade for like Tyreek Hill, and it's like that's how bad things
that
have
would
gone.
help them. That would help them.
I
He's
guess.
familiar with the system. If he's not,
Yeah.
and again, all of this might change in week 7 when Rashi Rice comes back, and
Yeah,
But I think up until then, their schedule is going to be tough. They might be in a bit of a hole until then. And
They,
you can't sustain the success they had last year, winning all those one possession games. Any team who wins a bunch of one possession games, the following year they regress to the mean and they lose one possession games.
very good
So
point.
and the Chiefs did that last week to the Chargers, and I see them losing a one possession game to the Eagles this week in Kansas City at home.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, touchdown. That's one possession still.
People really believe this nonsense. Oh, the Chiefs have devil magic, and that's why they're betting on them this week, which is stupid. It's
This is just
stupid.
between the injuries and the age, like this is the least talented, like uninspiring, unimposing Chiefs team I can remember. Like
Yes,
I just don't. Maybe I don't know ball, but like I look at their roster and I'm just like, I don't see it, guys.
you do know
Like
ball, and guess what? Their division used to be a walk in the park. The
that too,
Chargers would
right?
blow a game, the Broncos would poop their pants, the Raiders stunk, and now all those teams are good. Their
Yeah.
division has 4 Hall of Fame coaches: Sean Payton, Andy Reid, Pete Carroll, and Jim Harbaugh. Four Hall
This
of
is
Fame.
like it's a tale as old as time in professional sports, right? It's like everybody's playing catch up for so long, and they finally get to the point where they catch them, and like it comes as not a wake up call, but like a reset point for the team that finally gets caught, where it's like, oh, like everybody else around us is good now. We need to like recalibrate what we're doing, make to get back in the mix,
Yeah.
and especially in a cap league, and especially with so much parity in the NFL. It's like it's actually kind of surprising it's taken this long, but it never really happened for the Patriots, obviously, because the AFC is a joke. But more often than not, teams catch up to you, and then you've got to figure out how you reassess and catch back up.
Yeah, I mean, it took long because the other teams were goofing around. The Chargers were moving cities. They have no fans. The Raiders are the Raiders with their ownership, and the Broncos were giving Russell Wilson big contract, and they were in salary cap hell. I'm actually impressed how quickly they bounced back from that. They could have been bad for many years. Good for them, the
The
Broncos.
big thing is like it doesn't even need to be that complicated. It's quarterback and coach, where it's like just we are what 3 years removed from Nate Hackett coaching
Yeah.
the Broncos, and now it's Sean Payton. It's like that's a bit of a difference. Like you know, it's no longer Vic Fangio and Josh McDaniels and
They had
uh,
that guy Vance Joseph.
Vance Joseph. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is it's a heavyweight division now.
Yeah, well, that's exciting, Mike. Thank you for taking the time to go over the top 3 games of the week. Anything else you want to add about the NFL this week? Maybe a
No,
game
I
that
don't
you
think
like that
so.
we haven't talked about.
Any um any thoughts on the Patriots Dolphins game?
That is something I'm staying away because I have no idea how the Dolphins are gonna
I think
respond.
it's a yeah, that's like a super interesting like cap game where like the point spread is basically a pick 'em. I don't think anybody knows what to expect from either of those teams.
Yeah, I mean, usually the Dolphins beat the Patriots at home, so
Yeah.
this would get right spot for them. But at the same time, all the reports we've been hearing is how the Dolphins are dysfunctional, and they're. I think the Dolphins maybe um, prove those reports wrong and come out and win like
What
42-7. And
what'd you think of Rex Ryan calling Mike McDaniel nerd boy or whatever he called him?
I liked it. I'm over him. Like
Yeah,
if
I
you're
like him.
I
I want
liked
to
him
hang
two
out with
years
him, but
ago.
like when it doesn't go well, it's like it's tough.
Yeah, he's trying. I don't know. He's trying too hard to be Sean McVay. There's only one Sean McVay. How are the
Yeah.
Rams 5.5 point favorites this week? They should. They're
That
gonna.
was another one. Like they kept showing the Rams Texans highlights, and I was like, "What a random football game that's going on right now." I didn't catch a whole lot of that one, but that was a sneaky, interesting matchup, and it's like I wish this wasn't up against America's game of the week right now.
Yeah, no, some good games this weekend. Falcons Vikings, I think, will be an interesting Sunday night football game. Um, and then Bucks Texans is like 2 first round exit teams battling each other out. NFC and AFC South champions. Chargers Raiders will be fun. I'm sure that crowd's going to be interesting.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, Thank you, Mike. We'll be back again next week, and we'll discuss week 3 games, and so on. Have a good week, everyone.